Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and would you believe me if there's over 150 tier 8s in the game? Well, all of them are in front of us. Every collector, tech tree, premium, every single tier 8 in the game is planted right in front of you. And in today's video, I am unfortunately going to be ranking every one of these tanks. I'm going to be doing this quickly, so I'm not going to sit here and spend multiple minutes talking about each tank and why it's crazy strong. We're just going to quickly go through the list, talk about the strengths, where I rank them, and move on to the next, because there are simply too many vehicles to rank. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, if you agree, if you disagree with my tier list. With that being said, yeah, we're going to get straight into it. Obviously, keep in mind that these are my opinions, and unlike a lot of other players that really only play tier 10, I do actually play tier 8. I know about all the tier 8s. And remember that this is not being edited after, this is not scripted, so everything I'm saying is off the top of my head, which should give you an idea of just how much I know life this game. So, with that being said, we're going to start off with the tier 8 Shinies Premium, the 112 Glacial, and make our way through. Please smash that subscribe button. I'm begging of you. If this video does not earn a subscription, I don't know what will. The 112 Glacial is a decent tier 8. It has a really strong lower plate, it has a really strong upper plate, and the turret armor is pretty good. However, it's not the fastest, and it features one of the worst guns in terms of accuracy. Personally, there's nothing truly amazing about the tank, but there's nothing bad. I'm going to put it into the average category, as a lot of these Soviet-style heavies are going to make it into. The 59 patent I forgot to drag to the bottom here. That is now a tier 9, so we will just forget that. Moving up, we have the BZ-166, which has two different guns, and I don't actually know what the differences between the two guns are. You should be running the 400 Alpha. In fact, I think that's the turret, not the gun that they're showing here, because it only has one gun option. But the turret, you can either run the fully upgraded turret or the stock one. I can tell you that the stock turret is better. I'm assuming the stock is the 166 and not the 166M. So for me, I'm actually putting the stock turret on the 166 into super strong. The reason why is because it's actually substantially better. You have no hatch, and the corner cutouts don't exist. So if you're using gun depression, it's almost impossible to pen it, versus if you're using it with the weaker upgraded turret. Even though you get more health, it's generally not worth it. Drive the BZ-166 stock. You're actually going to be doing better than if it is fully upgraded, which is just a really interesting mechanic. We have the T-34 too, which has two different gun options. You have a 100mm and the 122. I'm going to be honest, I don't really see the reason driving the T-34 too at the 100mm. It grinds to the 121, which has a 122. Why would you grind this line and not use the 122 along the way? So for me, the 100mm is going to go into average. The 122mm on the T-34 too is actually quite nice. It's got great penetration, amazing aiming time, and it hits for 400 damage per shot. Not only that, but this tank actually has really good turret armor, like a little red tomato. The upper plate and the sides are horrible, but it's mobile, it's got a good turret, and a really hard-hitting gun. I actually genuinely really enjoy the 34 too, and that's not even mentioning that it has reactive armor and tungsten. So I'm actually putting this thing in the super strong. It is genuinely a really good vehicle. Next, we have the Type 59. This tank, for a while, used to be pretty mid, but its armor was recently buffed, and more importantly, it features adaptive concealment. To what I'm aware, it's one of the only tanks in the entire tier with adaptive concealment, which easily makes it into the super strong category. I don't think it's overpowered, but it's got a good gun. It's got really, really good pen now due to the APCR buffs, and with it having adaptive concealment, if you know what you're doing, you can genuinely have a really fun experience. We have the tier 8 check tree, the WZ-110. This grinds to the 113, and it's kind of average, to be honest. The gun is okay, but I wish it had more DPM. It doesn't have a lot of gun depression, and its lower plate is absolutely huge, which doesn't make it a whole lot better. The WZ-111-1 GFT is kind of like the Scorpion G of tech trees. It has a 460 alpha gun, and it has the highest damage, high explosive for a 130mm at 660, which is absolutely diabolical. It has pretty good armor, good gun depression, and it even features reactive armor, if I'm not mistaken. In general, it is a fantastic tier 8, and because of that, I'm actually going to put it in the super strong once again. We have the WZ-111, which I'm going to put into the average category. It's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's kind of a worse 112 Glacial, but it gets tungsten and reactive, which do give it a slight edge in certain areas. The gun still sucks, the armor's mediocre at best, so it's not really a vehicle I would ever recommend to get your hands on, but it's not horrible either. The 112-2 I'm going to put into good. It's basically a better Glacial. It's got 20 reverse, which is actually insanely good. It's got a really strong frontal and lower plate, plus it doesn't really have hatches like the Glacial. The problem is the gun still sucks, so I don't think we're going to put it anything past good, especially with the IS-5 existing in the current state it does. WZ-120 GFT is going to be going into the super strong category, just shy of 3,000 DPM, 400 damage per shot, insanely good penetration, crazy good camo values, great mobility, and even pretty good armor. The 120 GFT is genuinely one of the strongest tier 8 tank destroyers, and no doubt in my mind goes into the super strong category. The 122 TM is also going to be making it into the super strong category. It has really good frontal protection, especially in the latest update. Now that vehicles have less pen and enhanced armor got buffed, the 122 TM is genuinely really strong in the armor department. Pair that with the gun hitting 400, having great penetration and decent aiming time paired with accuracy, it's kind of just a better heavy. So yeah, the 122 TM makes it into super strong. The final Chinese vehicle we have for now is the WZ-132. This is the light tank that grinds to the 132-1. And this vehicle, well, the gun's decent, but the armor's non-existent, and there's really nothing special about it, so I think we're just going to put it into the average category. It's not bad, it's not great, it's just an average tier 8 that you have to grind to get to the tier 10. Now we move over to some European vehicles. We got some Italian tanks. We got a lot, and some of them are kind of mixed matched just because I had to remember which ones I needed, so let's see what we've got here. Starting off the 53 TP, and this is actually the first tank that's going to be making its way into the OP category. The 53 TP has one of the strongest turrets in Tier 8. It's over 300 millimeters thick, and now with the Kali nerfs, basically nothing pens the 53 turret. Pair that with the fact you have 8 degrees of gun depression, 420 alpha, with tungsten and gear oil. This thing's crazy. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know about the 53 TP is that it has one of the quickest aiming times in the game for a 420 alpha gun at tier 8. It's actually crazy. So it's got mobility, it's got good alpha damage, and tungsten plus crazy armor. 53 TP is easily going into the OP category. Keeping up with the word OP, we have the Bisante C45. 8 degrees of gun depression alone allows it to get a lot of good hull down positioning. Pair that with an incredibly strong turret and the Kali nerfs basically buffing the turret even better against premium. Yeah, the Bisante already has crazy good armor, but that's not even mentioning the fact that it has 2,800 DPM as a double shot auto reloader. Sure, it has a reserve shell, but it doesn't take away from the fact that you're still able to deal 640 damage whenever you feel like it. It has great pen, solid mobility, and the entire tank is covered in spaced armor, which makes it very hard to reliably pen with heat. In general, the Bisante is an insanely OP tank, and it is probably the best tier 8 heavy in the entire game. We have the CS53, which is going to be making its way once again into the average category. I genuinely don't think there's anything truly special about this Polish tier 8. I mean, sure, the gun is decent DPM, but it's just not armored. There's nothing really that unique about it. We have the Emil 1, another vehicle making its way into OP. The Emil has, honestly, completely busted armor now. The Emil 1 already had really good armor in Tier 8, especially when using gun depression, but now the vehicles have less pen on their premium, especially gold. Oh man, you're really going to struggle to cut through an Emil 1. Pair that with the fact that it has APCR premium, meaning that it actually gained pen in the latest update. And not only that, but it has a 3-shell, 320 alpha clip with good DPM. Yeah, the Emil is really, really silly. It is honestly one of the most OP tier 8s, so definitely putting that thing in the OP category. The Emil 1951 is more enjoyable than the Emil, but it's not as good, mainly because the turret armor is substantially weaker. Most premium shells from tier 8s are going to go right through the turret, not even mentioning that tier 9s can kind of just butter through you with standard. And it's unfortunate, but I think it's also a good balancing factor, because the Emil 1951 has substantially better pen than the Emil 1. In fact, the standard shells on the Emil 1951 are almost as good as the premium shells on the Emil. So that is a big advantage. You also have way better mobility, so there are some advantages. I actually really like the 1951, but I think the Emil is going to stay ahead of it. The Lance C is a very interesting vehicle, and it's a tank that I hold near and dear to my heart because when I played my first game in it, which is still on the channel, I did over 7,000 damage. It is still the highest game ever played in the Lance, and in fact, it's one of the highest games ever played in Tier 8. So because of that, I've actually always really enjoyed the vehicle. It's got a hard-hitting gun with 320 damage per shot, good base dispersion at 0.308, great aiming time, and pretty troll armor. So because of that, the Lance's a good tank. It's not anything crazy. The DPM's on the lower side, and it doesn't really have much armor, but it is still a very fun vehicle. We move over to auto reloaders, both the P44 Pantera and the Progetto. We're going to start with the Pantera, which is going to make its way into super strong. Great penetration, even better with the Cali buffs to APCR. Great DPM. The Pantera basically gains DPM if you dump the clip, so that's great. It has pretty troll armor and insane levels of mobility. I honestly love the Pantera. It's literally just a different version of the Progetto 46, and if you want to have a really fun time in Tier 8, that's a great vehicle play. The Progetto 46 goes into OP. Not only did the APCR get better, but the vehicle has crazy good accuracy on move. It hits at 240 damage per shot, which means that its clip can deal over 720 damage, which is insane for how quickly it's able to deal the damage. It also has really good accuracy. The thing is just insane. Even the turret armor is pretty troll, which allows the Progetto to get away with way more than it honestly deserves. Definitely going to be being in the OP category. The Shrek TVP, the SHPTK, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but this Czech Tier 8 collector tank destroyer, for me, is going to go into the I think we're going to do good category. There's nothing insane about the tank, but it's a good vehicle. It's got solid DPM. Unlike the Scorpion and the SU-130, it's actually pretty hard to pen it with high explosive, but the downside is you only have 310 damage per shot. It's decently mobile, and I do like the look of the vehicle, so it does have some nice strengths going for it. Overall, it's a good tank, which is totally fine. Skoda T27 is another Tier 9. I guess I forgot that one as well, so let's plop that in the bottom. Skoda T56 is going to be... We're going to do super strong. I thought about putting it in OP, but the gun is very unreliable. It hits hard, 450 damage per shot. It also gets gear oil, it has sandbags, and incredible levels of armor, plus some of the highest high explosive damage at like 640 for a 450 alpha. That's insane. So the gun's great, but it does have literally the worst dispersion that you can think of at Tier 8. So there are downsides. The DPM is also in like the 1800 area, which is also pretty garbage. So hits hard, great armor, great mobility, but unfortunately, the gun is kind of mediocre in terms of its everything else. So definitely something to keep in mind. The Vipera, easily OP, a double-shot auto-reloading tank destroyer with a 400 alpha gun. It's able to deal 800 damage in 2.5 seconds. That is more damage than a Concept 1B at Tier 10. Not only that, but it has 11 degrees of gun depression, surprisingly good mobility, and insane levels of frontal protection, especially after the latest armor buffs. So it's pretty crazy. And because of that, yeah, it's insane. Now, to be fair, the reserve shell does lose DPM if you dump it. A lot of DPM, but it doesn't really change the fact that you still have the ability to dish out 800 damage almost instantly. We have the Semovente Contracaro 64 with both the auto reloader and the single shot. The auto reloader, I'm going to put into good. It's nothing crazy. It's a 3-shell, 310 alpha gun. Problem with the auto reloader is that your DPM is pretty mid, and because of that, it's very easy to overwhelm, and you're generally going to struggle to rip out damage. The single shot, the 120mm, is OP. It has just shy of 3000 DPM, and when you pair that with the fact that it has actually better armor than the Vipera, it has way better DPM than the Vipera, 11 degrees of gun depression, just like the Vipera. Basically, it's just as OP as the Vipera. It is one of the strongest Tier 8s in the entire game. Oh my god, we still have so many Tier 8s to go. Stridsvon 81, it's average. I mean, it's got a decent turret, but the DPM and the armor isn't anything crazy. I just don't think there's anything truly remarkable about the Stridsvon, so we'll put it into the average category. TNH 105 1000, I think we'll put into good. It has a pretty strong upper plate and a very strong turret with a hard-hitting gun at around 310 damage per shot. It's actually not a bad vehicle. I enjoy it. I just wish that it had a little bit more going for it. So for me, it's an average grind. We'll leave it in good. TVP VTU. I'm going to put in Super Strong. It's honestly a very underrated tier 8. It has some of the highest pen in the entire game, especially at tier 8, and the APCR got even better, which is crazy. It has like 300 mils of APCR. That's wild. It also hits hard and actually has pretty troll armor. So yeah, the TVP VTU plays nothing like any of the other tanks in the line, but still a fun tank, so I'm putting it as super strong. AMX 1390 also goes in the super strong. It's a 3-shell autoloader, which has a 225 alpha 90mm gun. It has great levels of premium, especially for a light tank. It also has really good DPM and shell reload boost, allowing you to deal all of that damage in less than 4 seconds. That's a lot of damage and a lot of fun. I genuinely love the 1390, and I think it's a really, really good vehicle. It's also a great line in general going up to the bat chat, so really solid shout. AMX 5100, it's kind of an interesting vehicle because it used to be super mobile, but then Wargaming nerfed its mobility and gave it turret armor. I don't really agree with the decision. I think it was better before, but for me, I think we'll put it into the good category. It has reactive armor, if I'm not mistaken, a 3-shell 310 alpha clip, solid DPM, and crazy levels of pen. So it is still an autoloader with mobility, which allows you to have a really good time. The problem is, especially if you get up-tiered, the armor is absolutely useless. It's high explosive heaven, and you pair that with the fact that it doesn't even have gun depression, it can be really annoying. I wish it had gun depression. It should get like 8 degrees, but for some reason, it only has 6 degrees. AMX AC48 has some great capabilities, some of the highest premium pen in tier 8, especially with APCR. It has great frontal protection, insane levels of mobility, gear oil, super speed boost, and tungsten. However, its hatches are huge, its side armor is garbage, and the lower plate is incredibly weak. So while you do have some really good strengths, you also do have some big weaknesses. But overall, I honestly think this tank is super strong, especially with the fact that the APCR got even better. The level of pen on the AMX AC it's wild. It is absolutely wild. So I really think that it's a great choice, especially if you want to grind down to the Foch. AMX CDA, I think we'll do average. I think in the tank destroyers category, it is one of the most boring tank destroyers. It just doesn't really have that much going for it. Its DPM is kind of mid, its armor's kind of mid, its camo, it's good, but it's not great, and its mobility is really strong in terms of power to weight, but its top speed is is all right. In general, I've never really loved the CDA. I just think it's an average vehicle. So for me, we'll leave it an average. CDC is also going to be staying in average. It has crazy mobility, but the Dracula is basically the exact same thing a tier lower. And the problem with the CDC is that the gun still has horrible levels of on-movement dispersion, it's huge, and it has literally no armor. I wish Wargaming would give it Spall Liner. It desperately needs it, but as of now, because of that, it's just, I mean, why would you drive it when there's so many better options? AMX Defender, I'm going to put into good. I think it's a worse version of the 1390. Not only does it not get shell reload boost, but it also has substantially less damage per shot. I mean, the pen is nice and all, but it doesn't really matter that much to me. I think the 1390 gun is substantially better. The only real advantage you get in the AMX Defender is that it's harder to pen with high explosive. But who cares? The 1390 gets Spall Liner, so it really doesn't make a difference. The 1390 is still winning every day of the week. AMX M449 is a tier 8 French premium heavy. It's kind of like a Tiger 2. It has more gun depression at 10 degrees versus the, I think, 7 the Tiger 2 has. It also has substantially more mobility and a pretty good gun. The problem with the AMX M4 is, first of all, its armor is not nearly as good on the lower plate or the corner cutouts. And the other problem is that while the turret is substantially stronger, the hatch exists, and the hatch is only like 60 mils thick. It is so easy to high explosive pen the hatch if you know what you're doing. I think I'll put it into good. It's nothing crazy, but it's all right. I think that's the best way to describe it. Alt Proto AMX 30, I think we're going to put into average. It has a decent gun, 310 alpha damage. It's got decent mobility, somewhat troll armor, but there's just nothing that stands out about the tank. It really just is an average vehicle. There are so many options which are substantially better, like the Object 590, that I really just don't see much of a reason to get your hands on the Alt Proto. The Boss Chatillon Barrasque, not even a question in my mind, goes into the OP category. I remember when I had a lot of people telling me I was wrong and that it was an OP, so I made a 2-hour-long play to lose where I literally did not lose a game for 2 hours, and I had some of the craziest carries in my life. The Barrasque is an absolutely overpowered tier 8. Anybody that tries to tell you otherwise, strong. It's able to deal 640 damage in 2 seconds. Not only that, but it has crazy good camo. It has surprisingly good armor and even a decent amount of hit points. It's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. The Brask is by far one of the most OP tanks in the game. Arak 105 Proto, also OP. It's basically a Brask with more penetration and 8 degrees of gun depression instead of 6. The downside is a longer intra clip and worse damage per shot. So there are some trade-offs. It's also a lot larger and uglier, but in general, basically being the same as a Brask with actually more DPM, better penetration, and 8 degrees of gun depression allows it to be just as scary if you ask me. I think the Arak and the Brask are equally as strong. We have the FCM 50 ton, which goes into average. It has been buffed a lot, but it's still a pretty mediocre vehicle. I don't know why you would ever drive it. Lorraine 40 ton, I'll put into good. It has a 4 shell clip, which is able to deal 225 multiplied by 4, so that's 800, 900 damage. It's pretty good. Not only does it deal 900 damage, but it has great mobility, solid gun depression, and pretty good DPM paired with penetration. Problem with the Lorraine is that it has absolutely no armor and garbage camo, which means it is very easy to catch this thing out in the open, and once you do, it's going to be absolutely farmed. I'm going to put the Lorraine Fearless in the exact same spot. The Lorraine Fearless has slightly better clipping potential because it has a faster intra clip, but overall, it's not really going to make a huge difference. The M4A1 Revelorise is honestly going into super strong. It has an incredibly good gun, 350 damage per shot, 10 degrees of gun depression. I've always loved the look of the vehicle, and sure, I mean, it doesn't really have armor. It's literally a Sherman at tier 8, but it doesn't really make a difference when you have such a hard-hitting gun with great penetration, DPM, and overall accuracy. It's literally a 30B gun on a tier 8. How much more can you ask, right? It really is a great tank. The Elephant is, it's interesting. It's got a really good gun in terms of DPM. It actually has really good side armor, but it's also slow, doesn't have a lot of damage per shot, and doesn't have that much armor overall. I think I'm going to put the Elephant into good. Like, the gun is really nice, but unfortunately, the rest of the vehicle is kind of mediocre. And if we compare it to the Jagdtiger 88, which I'm going to be putting into the OP category, I really just don't see much of a reason to use the Elephant. The Jagdtiger 88 has the exact same damage per shot at 350. However, it has more DPM. It has 8 degrees of gun depression. And if that's not enough, it's faster, has substantially better frontal protection. And, like, at that point, why would you drive the Elephant? Like, I really don't get it. So, Jagdtiger 88 any day of the week. It's a way better vehicle, and that's why the Jagdtiger is going into OP. It has, like, 3,500 DPM. It has insane levels of pen, and it's got good armor. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Ferdinand, meh. Ferdinand, I wish was better than it is. I think it has tungsten, which is nice, so you can get, like, 520 alpha damage, and the gun is really nice in terms of its accuracy. Unfortunately, it's just slow and has absolutely no armor. It needs a buff in terms of the armor department. For me, I'm going to put it into the average category. I don't think it's horrible, but it's definitely nothing good. The Hawk 30 is going to go into the good category. It's got DPM, mobility, gun depression, and that is a big advantage over the RU-251, which is its direct competitor, because the gun depression of this vehicle allows you to work ridgelines that the RU can't necessarily. I think the RU has gun depression over the sides and then not over the front, or it's the other way around. The Hawk 30 has gun depression over the entire front and side, so it's definitely more flexible in that regard. It also actually has decent levels of protection, which means that, like, high explosive isn't going to be penning you reliably, where the RU-251, every high explosive shell known to humankind, is going to butter right through you. But I think that we're going to put both the Hawk 30 and the RU into good. The RU is a really nice gun, so does the Hawk. They're both super mobile, they both have great DPM, and I love the fact that the RU has high explosive plastic, allowing you to cut through the sides and rear of a lot of tanks, including heavies, because of how much pen it has. It's like over 100 mils of high explosive. It's actually really nice, and it makes the RU-251 an absolute bop. We have the Indian Panzer, which is going to make its way into the average category. The Indian Panzer has decent DPM. Actually, you know what? I lied. I forgot. The Indian Panzer got buffed. And, I'm going to put it in the super strong. I was thinking of the old Indian Panzer, but I forgot that it has 240 damage per shot now. And it also has some of the highest DPM in tier 8 for a medium. It's genuinely really good now. I forgot how good the Indian Panzer was, but yeah, it hits hard. It has great DPM, solid penetration, and even pretty decent turret armor for the most part. It's genuinely a really underrated medium, so we're going to leave it in the super strong category. We have the Jagdpanther 2, which I'm also going to be putting in the super strong. 460 alpha damage. It has tungsten, and it has over 3,000 DPM. It's kind of like a Scorpion G, but way more DPM at the downside of worse accuracy and worse mobility in terms of the reverse speed. It only reverses at 10, but it actually has a crazy good power to weight, a top speed over 50 kilometers per hour, and insane traverse speed. So I actually think the Jagdpanther 2 is incredibly dangerous. Plus, I love the digger camo that it has. So yeah, I think it's actually super strong. Kanonen, it's another tank that was moved to tier 9. So once again, we put it at the bottom of the list. Oh my god, there's still so many. How long have we been going? 24 minutes so far, and we've done like maybe a fifth. Okay. Kyler, 350 damage per shot. Really good armor. Pretty good mobility for what it is. And it's just a great tank in general. The armor's great. Everything about the tank's great. We're going to put it in the super strong. Kampfpanzer 07 RH, 240 damage per shot. Solid DPM and some of the best accuracy for a tier 8 medium. Unfortunately, its armor isn't really existing, so for me, I'm just going to put it into good. It's a nice tank, but there's definitely nothing truly crazy about it. We have the Kampfpanzer Project 68 Proto. Great turret armor, 8 degrees of gun depression, and a 380 alpha gun, allowing it to outtrade most mediums around it. Unfortunately, the hull armor is garbage, and I do think that vehicles like the Chimera and the 122 TM do kind of outclass it in that role. For me, I think we'll put it in good. There's nothing crazy about it, but it does have a hard-hitting gun with decent accuracy, and it looks really cool, so not too bad. We have the Lechpanzer M4190. This tier 8 light is genuinely going in the super strong. I think people really underrate its capabilities. It has a good hard-hitting gun with 240 damage, great DPM, fantastic mobility, and it has high explosive, which has 320 damage per shot with really good pen. It's kind of like the RU-251, but its high explosive is substantially better, which is why I ranked it higher than the RU. I really, really love the Lechpanzer. I think it's amazing. We have the Löwe, which is the tier 8 German super heavy. It's a vehicle that's been in the game forever. Its armor's actually pretty good, especially after the latest rebalance. Its gun is insane in terms of penetration, and it's kind of slow, but that's the downside you have for driving a German super heavy. Overall, I think we'll put it into good. The gun's great, and the armor's pretty good. It's just everything else is quite mediocre. Panzer, it's got a really cool look. It's got a plow on the front, gun depression, but it does have a big hatch. The gun's really nice, though. Solid DPM, really good accuracy, so that is one really nice thing about the vehicle. For me, I think we're going to put the Panzer into good. It's definitely nothing like crazy. Problem is the armor looks strong until you realize you can just cut right through the plow, so it's generally not that hard to deal with a Panzer if you know where to aim. And even if it's using gun depression, you just shoot it in the hatch. Problem solved. If the hatch didn't exist, it would be easily super strong, but it has a hatch. So it's also not very fast, which is another thing to keep in mind. But it is quite good at ramming, as it says in the name. Panther 88 is going to go into average. It has good DPM. It has decent armor, but it's kind of just a worse Panther 2. The gun isn't really that much better, and the Panther 2 has substantially better armor. So for me, Panther 2 is just a better Panther 88. And I actually really like the Panther 2. It's a solid tank. The gun, the mobility, the armor, everything about it is pretty good. It lives up to the name. Panzer 58 is... it's kind of weird. It's kind of like a Schwartz Panzer 58. They're both kind of the exact same tank. They're decent turret armor, gun depression, mobility, solid DPM. I just don't really know what purpose these vehicles exist, so I'm going to put them into good. I don't think there's any special reason to pick up either of these tanks. I mean, the Schwartz Panzer's free if you pass 20,000 games, I think it is, so that's pretty cool. And not only that, but the Schwartz Panzer has reticle Cali, which is a little bit more unique versus the base Panzer 58, but still there's really not much of a reason to play either of them. I haven't played the Panzer 58 or the Schwartz Panzer 58 in like the last year, so that should really put it into your mind. We have the Borsig with both the 15 centimeter and the 12.8. With the 12.8, we're going to put it in the average. It's a good gun, but its DPM is really lacking, so I don't see much of a reason to use it. And with the 15 centimeter, I'm easily putting it in the super strong. The Borsig has insane camo values, and with gear oil, it's super duper fast. Not only that, it has 580 alpha, so the thing hits hard. It has reticle Cali, which is insane, and it's got insane levels of heat pen. Overall, the Borsig really is such a fun little rat. It's so small, and it gets spall liner, so you can get away with so many plays. I genuinely really enjoyed playing in it, so for me, super strong. We have the Scorpion G, which I'm going to put into good. The Scorpion G has an amazing gun, 460 damage per shot with insane levels of accuracy. Unfortunately, it suffers in terms of the aiming, or not the aiming, sorry, it suffers in terms of the armor and the camo. It has really bad camo values for what it is, and the armor is non-existent, so it's very easy to get caught out in the open and just completely ripped apart. And like, while the gun is great, I do feel like the SU-130 is just a better version, so when we get over to the SU-130, in fact, let's see if I can find it right now. There's so many tanks here. ISU-130, ST-262. I don't even see the SU-130 PM. I know it's here, but I don't see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. SU-130 PM goes into super strong. It has better camo, better mobility, half the size of the Scorpion, and because of that, I just don't really see much of a reason to drive the Scorpion G when the SU-130 PM exists. So for me, SU-130 super strong, Scorpion G good. Tiger 2, I'm putting it in OP, honestly. After the latest rebalance with calibrated shells, the armor on the Tiger 2 is insane. And not only that, but it has APCR premium, which means it gained even more pen. And it also features really good DPM, surprisingly good mobility. The Tiger 2 really is just one of the best tier 8s. It's such a good vehicle. And the fact that it's a tech tree makes it even better. VK100, super strong. Hits hard, 460 alpha. It has a really nice armor profile. And while it is very slow, it doesn't really matter. It just has so much armor, especially if you know how to angle it. Plus, with sandbags and the new HP buffs, it can have easily over 2100 health, which is kind of insane for a tier 8. So overall, I do genuinely really enjoy playing in the VK100, and I think we're going to leave it in super strong. VK4502A, I think a lot of people really underrate this thing. It's also going into super strong. The VK45 has a better turret than the Tiger 2 by about 10 millimeters, which means that it's harder for premium shells to cut through. Not only that, but the upper plate is now genuinely really strong due to the Cali changes. It also gets tungsten and way better mobility than the Tiger 2. It's honestly a great tank. The only problem is that its side armor is substantially worse and the lower plate is a big weak point, so something you have to keep in mind. Plus, I think it only has 6 degrees of gun depression, which can make it rather annoying to work on ridge lines. But I actually really like the VK45, and I think people genuinely underrate its capabilities. Death Star, easily OP. It's got a 3-shell, 310 alpha gun. If that's not enough, it's got like a 2-second intro clip, and it has Hesh, which can give it upwards of like 370 damage per shot. So this tier 8 tank destroyer, if you pen the Hesh, is able to deal like 1,100 damage in like 4.4 seconds. It's ridiculous. The gun on the tank is insane. It also has a great top speed, over 40 kilometers per hour. It has great mobility in general. It's got good camo. It's stupid. It's definitely going into the OP category. The Fixer is going to go into good. I'm going to do super strong, actually. The Fixer features a much more enjoyable gun than the Super Pershing. It has the same gun depression, it has pretty good armor on the upper, and the lower plate's weaker than the Super Pershing, but the upper plate's stronger. So basically, if you're using the thing on a ridgeline, you have much better armor for getting bounces. The gun hits harder with like 320 damage per shot instead of the 225 that the Super Pershing has. Because of that, I genuinely just like the Fixer a lot more. Plus, I think it looks better. Speaking of the Super Pershing, let's see where it is, and let's talk about that tank next. Here we go, T26E4. And you know what? Let's do good. The Super Pershing got a slight buff in the latest update. Its upper and lower plate are better. Unfortunately, it's still very slow. The gun is still incredibly mediocre in terms of its accuracy and overall aiming time, and it's still got some big ol' hatches, just like the Fixer, but at least the Fixer hits harder, so if people try hitting you in the hatch, you can outtrade them. I don't think the Super Pershing is bad, but I just think if you want a tank that has armor, go with a T-54 Mod 1. If you want an American tank with a good gun and mobility and armor, go for the T-25 Pilot 1, which we'll talk about later. We have the ground tank, which won't ever be sold again to what I'm aware, and for me, ground tank's going to go into good. It's not bad by any means, right? It's got a hard-hitting gun with 440 alpha. It has surprisingly good mobility for it weighing like 100 tons. It's really good at ramming, and its armor is actually decent now due to the latest changes. However, it still falls apart incredibly fast against tier 9s. It's super large, making you the talk of the town. Everybody wants to shoot at you, and its reverse speed is garbage at like 10. So there are still some big downsides, but it is a cool tank, and it's very fun when you can get a ram out with it. We have the Quetzal. Let's just talk about this really quickly. This is the first vehicle going into the You Like Pain category. There aren't going to be many tanks going into that category, but the Quetzal is genuinely a garbage tank, and I really see no reason to ever get your hands on it. So we're going to leave it in You Like Pain. I'm not even going to explain it. It's just garbage. It's huge, it's slow, it has no DPM and no accuracy. There's zero reason to ever get your hands on a Quetzal. Moving on, we have the Nebulon, which I'm going to put in the Super Strong right up there next to the TVP VTU. The Nebulon features just as much pen. It has a little bit less damage per shot, but to make up for that, it has not only, I would argue, better armor, but it has 8 degrees, maybe it's even 10 degrees of gun depression. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it's 10, but the Nebulon, unlike the TVP VTU, actually has really good gun depression, which means that you can work it on a ridgeline great. You can use that crazy pen and solid DPM, outtrade your opponents. I think Nebulon is really underrated and a very fun tier 8 medium. 047, I'm going to put into good. It has solid DPM, pretty good armor, and it looks really cool. Plus, as of now, it's not going to be sold ever again. The only problem with the 047 is that it's not anything crazy. There's nothing that's special about the tank apart from the looks. There are plenty of other tier 8s which have better capabilities, including armor, which is why I think good is where we're going to leave it. The Hole Eater. The Soul Eater. Where are we going to put the Soul Eater? I think Super Strong is fine. It's a large tank, which is a downside because you're a very easy target to pick apart, but very hard-hitting gun. It has a double shot, which is able to deal like 540 damage. It's pretty nice in that regard. It also has really surprising mobility. It looks sick, and it has crazy levels of pen, plus a very weird lower plate that literally eats your shots. So overall, I like the Soul Eater, but I think that there are some downsides to it, the biggest one being just the size. But overall, I think it's a great tank. We'll leave it in Super Strong. Swindler, I'm going to put in good. The Swindler is an auto reloader, and the problem is the 1390 can deal all of its damage and then just reposition. The Swindler gets 2 shells and then a reserve shell. So you have 240 damage per shot, which is nice. So you can deal 480, but if you want to deal the final chunk of damage, you're going to have to reload the entire clip. And at that point, just use a Progetto 46 because it does the same damage and has a way better gun. And sure, the Swindler's more mobile, but like at that point, just go for a 1390. So for me, I think the Swindler's in good. It's a nice tank. I actually really enjoy playing in it, but I think you're going to be better off with the 1390, or especially better off with the Progetto 46. We have the Titan 54D, which I'm going to put into Super Strong. The armor on the Titan 54D is really good, and it has genuinely the best on-movement dispersion I've ever seen in the game. I remember when Fatness and I played this thing together, and it is insane how accurate the Titan 54D is on the move. It is crazy. So I genuinely really enjoy playing in the vehicle. Plus, it has pretty cool pen. It's got like 300 mils of heat, which makes it one of the highest penning mediums in tier 8. Obviously, it's less now, probably like 280-ish because of the Kali changes, but even then, it still has more heat than most heavies. It has really good armor, which got even better, and it looks cool. So yeah, the Titan 5040 is actually a really underrated Titan tank. Titan Charioteer, average. It's literally just a worse Charioteer. I genuinely don't know why you would ever get your hands on the vehicle. I mean, sure, it has some armor, but like the armor's still not very good. The gun's not really anything crazy. So for me, I'm going to put the Titan Charioteer into average, and then we'll put the Charioteer into good. I still remember the day when the Charioteer was first added into the game, and it literally had the exact same gun as an FV4202. Same DPM and everything. It was insanely overpowered. However, Wargaming has since nerfed the vehicle's DPM. Charioteer is still quite the dangerous tank, though, and that is a mosquito. Go away. Go away. Either way, it has a 350 alpha APCR, and then if you load Hesh, that's 440 alpha, which is obviously very nice. It's got spall liner, good mobility, and a hard-hitting gun. I really like the Charioteer. I think that it's a solid tank overall. The Titan Charioteer, I just don't really see any reason to drive it. It's just so mediocre. If you get it, I feel bad for you. We have the Titan Strife, which I'm going to put into good. The Titan Strife has insane armor. The upper plate, the turret, easily some of the most armor in tier 8. And the lower plate is weak, but it's this tiny bar, and if you miss and hit below it, shells are going to auto-ricochet. The gun has insane levels of pen, DPM's average, and the mobility is pretty bad. So basically what you have is a super heavy, but I don't know. It doesn't really hit that hard. Its lower plate is still pretty weak. I don't think there's anything truly crazy about the Strife, so for me, I think we'll just leave it in the good category. The Toxic, which is the Almus, is being released pretty soon here. And I figured I would throw this into the list because I've already played this tank when it was in testing. It's been buffed slightly, so I figured I'd talk about it. And for me, I'm going to put it in the good. The gun hits hard. It's got 390 damage per shot. It has troll armor. If you angle it properly, you can get bounces. The turret is genuinely pretty good, but the mobility's on the lower side, and the tank doesn't really seem to have anything crazy going for it. I think a 122 TM is substantially better in terms of armor. The gun on the 122 TM is better. So, yeah, for me, I'm going to leave the Toxic in good. It's not anything crazy. It's just a good tank. TSL 7 Defender, average. It has a clip with 225 damage and a 3-shell gun, but its armor isn't good at all, and the DPM is mid, plus it has like a 3-second intro clip. It takes 6 seconds to deal the damage when you can drive a Progetto, which does damage substantially faster and has more damage per shot, and is an auto reloader that gains DPM when dumping the clip. So I don't know. The TSL 7 Defender really is just a average tier 8. I feel bad again for people that get their hands on it. The Chisei, I'm going to put into super strong. The Chisei has incredible levels of frontal protection. It has a hard-hitting gun with premium AP that butters through just about every armor plate. Plus, if you're running improved suspension, you can get 9 degrees. So it's got DPM, armor, and it barely loses any damage when loading gold. The Chisei is genuinely a blast. I love playing in the Chisei. So for me, it's definitely going to be going in the super strong. Plus, it grinds to the Type 71, which is an incredibly fun tier 10. We have the Hori, which we're going to put into good. The Hori has a very hard-hitting gun. It also, well, 400 damage. It's not very hard-hitting, but it hits hard. It has great DPM at around 3,000. Its armor is pretty troll, just like the tier 10. It has reactive, and most importantly, it has AP premium, which literally butters through every single bit of armor without even breaking a sweat. So it's genuinely a really fun tank. Keeping in line with Japanese tank destroyers, we have the Kari. And the Kari is, it's just a slightly better Hori in my opinion. We'll put it in the super strong. The biggest advantage is that you're only losing like 10 damage per shot when loading gold with the Kari. It hits for 440 with the standard, and I think it's like 425 or 430 with the premium AP. Not only that, but it has insane levels of premium AP pen, and it gets reticle Cali, so it doesn't ever miss. It's honestly really fun, and the armor's not bad. Like, you can definitely get bounces with the Kari. So for me, I think it's a really, really fun tank and goes into super strong. STA1, average. It has good DPM. It has a really, really high pen value, but its armor's useless, especially when you're fighting higher tiers. It's going to fall apart pretty quickly. So I think average is where we'll leave it. Type 57, I'm going to put it in OP, honestly. Type 57 is incredible. It's basically just a better Skoda T56. It has 430 damage per shot, which is really nice. It has, I think, 8 degrees of gun depression, maybe 9 degrees of gun depression. It has really good gun depression, and that allows you to work a ridgeline. Plus, it has incredible levels of turret armor. It's pretty fast, and it has reticle calibration, allowing you to hit your shots. I honestly think the Type 57 is a better 252. It's literally a 252 had a baby with a Skoda T56, and that's what you get. It's an amazing tank, and I genuinely believe because of the gun depression, the turret armor, the reticle Cali, the great pen, and the hard-hitting gun, it's OP. Next, we arrive to the Carnarvon Action 10. Carnarvon Action 10 is genuinely just a worse Carnarvon. I think I'm going to put it in good. It has great DPM, solid mobility, and a very, very accurate gun. But the problem is, it's just a worse Carnarvon. The Carnarvon Action 10 is like 2,700 DPM. The Carnarvon has like 3k DPM. Not only that, but the Carnarvon also gets super speed boost. It gets sandbags, and it has way better turret armor. The Carnarvon is genuinely going into OP. People don't realize how absolutely overpowered the Carnarvon is. And you know what? I'll put the Carnarvon Action 10 into super strong. It's still a very good tank, but I just feel like the Carnarvon is so much better that there's really not much of a reason to play the Action 10, especially when the Action 10 costs money and the Carnarvon is literally free. We have the AT-15 with both the 32-pounder and the 20-pounder. 32-pounder, average. I really don't see much of a reason to use the AT-15 with the 32-pounder. Its DPM is still great at like 3,500, but It's not anywhere close to the 4,000 DPM that you're going to be getting with the AT-15 with the 20-pounder. And because of that, we're actually going to put this thing in the super strong. If you know how to use the tank properly and you can get that DPM out, it is insane. 4,000 DPM on tier 8 is the highest DPM tier for tier in the game, especially against tier 7s. You can literally kill full health tier 7s in like 15 seconds. It's wild. You do not want to mess with an AT-15. And now that the armor is actually decently effective, it is quite a fun vehicle. The Carnarvon Defender, I don't really see much of a reason to ever drive this thing. We're going to put it in the average. The turret armor isn't very good. The gun isn't very good. It's literally just a worse mill one in every way. I wish it had something unique going for it, but it really doesn't. So stay away from the Carnarvon Defender. Caliban, I'm going to put into good. The Caliban genuinely can be pretty good. If you are able to aim your shots properly and you can pen your hesh, you can literally take about 80% of a tier 7 off and about maybe 50 to 60% of a tier 8 heavy. Like, that's insane. The problem with the Caliban is you have no armor, not so great DPM, and you also don't have any mobility. So really, you're just relying on the gun. But my Caliban has pretty good stats, 2,700 average damage with over a 70% win rate, so I genuinely really enjoy playing in it. I'm going to leave it in good. Centurion Mark 5-1. I think we'll put it in super strong. It's honestly not a very fun tank. The Centurion Mark V has really good turret armor. Easily one of the best armored turrets tier for tier in the game. Not only that, but the upper plate's also very well armored. It has decent DPM, a really accurate gun. It's kind of like a Carnarvon Action 10 turned into a medium. The only thing I just don't like about the Centurion Mark V is that the DPM and the damage per shot are pretty garbage for a tier 8, so you're just going to take forever to kill everything in front of you. I'd much rather drive a tank that's unique and has special capabilities rather than ooga booga, haul down, do whatever you want. But that's my personal opinion. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments. These guns are the same. It says 20-pounder gun BM, 20-pounder gun BM. I don't know. We're going to start with the Hesh gun. And for the Centurion, the Hesh gun, we're going to put in the super strong. It has great penetration, great DPM, and it actually allows the Centurion to be really fun. Plus, the Centurion has great turret armor and solid mobility. It is actually a really fun tier 8 medium. I would highly recommend to mess around with the Centurion if you're grinding to the 4202. If we're talking about the other gun, we'll put it into good. Its penetration is amazing, DPM is solid, and the accuracy is pretty good, especially when you pair it with the pretty good turret armor that the Centurion has, but unfortunately, there's nothing else really going for the tank. You know what? I'm actually going to put in average. We put the Stridsvon 81 in average, which is basically a reskin Centurion, so might as well put the Centurion in average as well. The Charlemagne is going to go into good for me. I really like it. It's got a 400 alpha gun, and then when you load Hesh, it has 470, 460-ish alpha. It has good turret armor. However, the hull armor, pretty useless. It's very slow, and because of that, I do like the Charlemagne a lot. It's actually one of my favorite tier 8s, but it doesn't mean it's a crazy tank. There are plenty of vehicles that you can just drive like the, Type 57 or Skoda T56, and you can get a hard-hitting gun, and sure, your DPM won't be as high, but you have way better armor and you have better mobility, so I think the Charlemagne's solid, but it's nothing wild. The Chieftain average, the DPM's great, mobility is solid. Unfortunately, it has a massive tumor on the roof, which is incredibly weak, and it doesn't really have anything unique about it. It looks cool. If Wargaming removed the hatch, it would easily be in super strong, but it has a hatch, and in 2026, that hatch, it's pretty bad. It's pretty large, and you're going to get ripped apart. Chimera, I think we're going to put into super strong. The Chimera, you might think it's OP, but here's the thing. It has really mediocre turret armor. Especially when you're fighting tier 9s, it very quickly gets ripped apart. And that's the thing. Like, the Chimera might hit really hard, but nowadays, I just feel like it's definitely not as strong. I feel like the 122 TM is held up better because of the armor changes versus the Chimera. So, while it does hit incredibly hard, you do have to remember that your armor isn't necessarily the best, and you got to be careful about that. But it is genuinely a crazy tier 8. 440 damage per shot. It has reticle cali, 10 degrees of gun depression, surprisingly good mobility, and not even bad DPM or accuracy. It is a crazy, crazy dangerous tank. So, going in the super strong. We have the Defender Mark 1. not even a question, OP. The Defender Mark 1 is basically a Centurion RAAC with even better turret armor. Sure, the hull is garbage, but who cares? Just get the thing hull down, you can't pen it. Even on the side, for some reason the spaced armor is like bugged and you just can't pen it. Not only that, but it has a 4-shell 190 alpha gun, which deals like 740, 60 clipping potential. It has some of the best accuracy in the game, some of the highest penetration values for a tier A medium. It's even very mobile and has good DPM. The Defender Mark 1 is one of the dumbest tanks in the entire game. It's a vehicle that I abused ratings with, so it's going in the OP for me. Senlac, we'll put it in the average. I thought about putting it into You Like Pain, but nothing is on the level of the Quetzal. So we'll just leave the Senlac in average. Its major flaw is that the gun honestly has some of the worst on-move dispersion ever. And like, why would you want to drive a tank that has garbage on-move dispersion? Especially a light tank. And especially when the FE301 exists, and the FE301 is kind of just flat better in terms of every value, I think even DPM. So yeah, don't get your hands on the Senlac. It's literally so mid. The FE301, I'm going to put it in a good. It has great DPM, fantastic mobility, and it even has pretty troll armor. It's basically a medium tank with light tank capabilities, and that's a win-win. So I actually do think the FE301 is going to go into the good category. The GSOR 1008 goes into the overpowered category, just like the Death Star. It's a double shot 350 alpha gun, which means you can already deal 700 damage in 2.5 seconds. But if that's not enough, it has Hesh with 440 alpha, meaning that you can actually deal about 900 damage in 2.5 seconds if you pen your shots, which is insane. It has decent mobility, 8 degrees of gun depression. It's got it all. It's a really good tank. How long have we been going? 50 minutes now. Oh my god, we still have so many. Please. Please, we gotta go as quick as we can. Let's see. GSOR Fearless. I don't really know why you would ever play this tank. It's literally just a worse GSOR. I'm going to put it in average. It looks cool. And I guess if you're a furry, it's a tank that you can get your hands on to show your love for animals. But for me, I just think the gun is garbage. Its shell velocity is horrible, and the DPM just isn't enough to really make it anything unique. I think a Charioteer is going to be a better option in terms of single shots, and the GSOR is a much better option in terms of double shots. Turtle Mark 1, I'm going to put into average. While the armor is better, it is still an incredibly slow tank, only going 20, and the AT-15 has substantially more DPM, kind of defeating the purpose of the Turtle in every regard, especially because the armor on the AT-15 isn't even that bad. So, average. Vickers MBT is a tier 9, so that goes down here. Astron Sex, we're going to put that in, I'm going to do good. Its gun is nice. It's got, I think, 290 alpha, 270. It's got a pretty hard-hitting gun. Maybe it's even 300. I don't remember, but it's close to 300 alpha. It's got a 3-shell clip, and it can deal about 900 damage in the clip. It's got APCR Premium, which actually is pretty good pen now. It's got pretty troll armor, and I've always thought it was a pretty well-balanced autoloader. There's nothing OP about it, but it's fun, it's mobile, and I've always liked it. So for me, I'm putting it in good. Chrysler K, easy OP, not even a question. The Chrysler was OP before the armor changes, and now that its armor is even stronger, and it gained even more pen with the APCR Premium, it is insane. If you want to get your hands on one of the most OP heavies ever, Chrysler K is the way to go. It rivals the Bisante. It's insane. I need to make a video on it. M3O. Let me also drag the Scepter next to it. They're literally the exact same tank. M3O I'm going to put into good. Yeah, we'll do good. It's got a decent armor profile. It's got a 3-shell autoloader, which is able to deal about 900-ish damage. And it has a reserve track mechanic if you're driving the Scepter. So because I'm going to put the Scepter in the Super Strong, because it's slightly better in that regard. But both tanks are basically the same. Decent turret armor, very nice clipping potential, and a faster intra-clip than the Emil, 2.7 seconds instead of 3, which makes it a little bit more dangerous in that regard, but doesn't have nearly the armor profile that the Emil does, so something to keep in mind. The M4Yo, definitely making it in the Super Strong. It has some of the best armor. Apart from the hatch, it genuinely has crazy good armor. Plus, the gun is super nice. It's got a 4-shell... It's weird. Basically, you're a 4-shell autoloader that is a slightly faster reload than single shots. Like a Tiger 1 is like, I don't know, a 7-second reload. This tank is like a 6-second reload with the same alpha. So you out-reload almost all normal 300 alpha guns, and then the big advantage is that your clip only takes like 14 seconds to reload. So you have substantially higher DPM with your 4 shells than any other tank with the same damage per shot. And then use back into cover, reload your shells, poke again, and you're good to go. It's genuinely really good because of that. I actually hope that Wargaming adds a tank in the game like that at some point at tier 10. I think it would be a really, really cool mechanic. M6A2N experimental will do good. The armor is very nice. However, the turret is huge and very easy to pen, and it doesn't have the highest DPM. It's a very easy tank to take apart if you know what you're doing. So I think we'll leave it in good. But it does have a very, very crazy armor profile. The upper plate on the M6 is arguably one of the strongest in the entire game. Same for the lower plate. It's just the problem that the turret is the weak point, and because it's such a large tank, the turret is quite easy to hit. Pershing. Let's go good. The Pershing has nice DPM, good mobility, and a pretty solid alpha damage of 240. Unfortunately, the Pershing just doesn't have anything crazy going for it, and when it comes to the T25 Pilot 1, this tank goes into super strong. You might be like, why? What about this tank is special? Well, a couple months ago, Wargaming buffed its armor. It now has like 200 millimeters of frontal protection, which is actually very impressive. If you're using gun depression, it's upwards of 250, which means almost all mediums are genuinely going to struggle to cut through that armor. The turret is also incredibly durable. Pair that with some of the best gun handling in tier 8, great penetration, especially in the latest update. And yeah, the T25 Pilot 1 is genuinely super strong. T2065 Sheriff, good. It's basically just a worse Pilot 1. Sure, it's a heavy, so you have more health, but its mobility isn't great. Its DPM is good, but because its alpha damage is so low, I just don't really see any reason to drive a Sheriff when something like the Carnarvon exists, or even the Carnarvon Action 10, so I'm going to leave it in good. T28 Defender. Let's do super strong, honestly. I think this thing is super strong. It has a 3-shell 400 alpha auto loader with a 6-second interclip. It has pretty good armor. It has pretty good DPM. And it's kind of like a mix between a heavy and a tank destroyer. It has a lot of health, over 1500 for a TD, which is a lot at tier 8. It has 10 degrees of gun depression. I actually really like the T28 Defender, so I'm putting it in a super strong. T28 Proto. Some of you might be surprised by this, but in the latest update, Wargaming buffed the armor to a point where you literally can't pen it. And not only that, but its gun is incredibly high in DPM, and it has APCR premium, which means it literally butters through everything. T28 Proto it's insane now. The armor is just so strong on the tank that everything struggles to cut through you, and in return, you butter through them like a hot knife on butter. So, yeah. T28, average. It's not the worst. Its armor is actually pretty good now frontally, kind of like a T95. The gun has really good DPM, but still slow as hell, and unlike the T95, its sides are still pretty weak, which is something to keep in mind. It's not a very good tank. It's average. T32, average. It has a lot of health. Actually, no, I'll put it into good. It has a lot of health because it has sandbags, actually some of the highest health in tier 8. It has really good hull down armor. The upper plate's pretty strong. APCR premium is nice. Unfortunately, it has literally the worst accuracy in the game for a 310 alpha gun. It's like BZT70 levels of dispersion. It makes no sense. But thankfully, the armor's so good that you can get a lot of bounces. I like the T32, but there's really nothing that special about it. T34, we'll put it into good. Very, very strong turret. Good gun, 400 damage per shot, and some of the highest premium pen in the entire game tier for tier. Unfortunately, it just doesn't really have much of a reason to be played when you have tanks like the Bisante, the Chrysler K, the Type 57, right? I mean, those tanks hit harder, have more mobility, and generally are kind of just better. T34 1776, we're also going to put in the same category. The T34 has more armor, and I think the T34 1776 is more mobile. I personally think the more armor is the better option, but it really depends on your personal play style. T49 and T49 Fearless are both going to go into super strong. If you know what you're doing, they're generally super strong tanks. They have 780 alpha on the high explosive, which is insane. Pretty good DPM, and yeah, while the heat is kind of bad with the pen, especially now that it was nerfed, in the end, if you know what you're doing in the T49, you can get to the sides or even the rear of enemies. It's crazy fun. It's a lot better than people think. I really like the T49, so I'm putting it in the super strong. 90 millimeter? Whatever, we'll just put in a good and move on. T54E2 Shark. When it was first added into the game, it was one of the most OP tier 8s, but oh, how the times have changed. It is a good tank, but there's not much of a reason to really play it when the Bisante exists, and that tank has a double shot with even more DPM. But that's not to say it's bad. Shark is still going to go into the super strong category. 10 degrees of gun depression, great mobility, really, really good armor on the upper plate, on the sides, even on the rear, it's got ridiculously strong armor, plus solid DPM and really good pen. It's a do-it-all tank. It's a T110 E5 in tier 8. It's amazing. Honestly, it even has better armor than the E5, so it's pretty crazy. I'm going to put it in super strong. T69, I think we'll do good. The gun's nice. It has shell reload boost, solid DPM, really good pen, and its armor can be troll. However, it's slow, and the armor still isn't very good, so I think we'll just leave it in good. T77, not even a question in my mind. Easily OP. Double shot, 380 alpha. The concept at tier 10 has the exact same damage output as this tier 8 heavy. And not only that, this tank reverses at 18 or 20. It has incredibly troll turret armor, ridiculously troll hull armor, and yeah, as I said, it does the same damage as a concept 1B at tier 8. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry. The T77 is one of the most OP tier 8s in the game. And if you get the opportunity to pick it up, it's definitely one of the options you'll want to consider. T95E2, average. It's got a good gun in terms of pen. However, it has no armor, not that much mobility, and the DPM's honestly not even that crazy. I do not see much of a reason to get your hands on that tank ever. In fact, if you willingly buy that tank, I feel sorry for you. TS5, average. It's too slow. Armor doesn't really work that well. Even though it got more gun depression and it has better armor, I still don't see much of a reason to actually use the TS5 over other tier 8s. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to really like the TS5, and what's interesting is on World of Tanks PC, it's one of the highest win rate vehicles, but in Blitz, just it doesn't have the same capabilities going for it. So, we're going to leave it an average. IS2SH, I'm genuinely going to put in the super strong. Its armor has become really impressive in the latest update, especially when you pair it with the fact it's rear turreted. It has tungsten. It has really good mobility. It has reactive armor. It has 7 degrees of gun depression. It really is one of the best Soviet heavies in tier 8. And it has a way more accurate gun than almost all the other Soviet heavies. Plus, its armor is really good now, so not a bad shout. IS-3 Defender, probably OP. It has 7 degrees of gun depression, a nearly impervious turret, really strong upper plate armor, because for some reason Wargaming buffed that, and then recently they buffed the DPM and the intraclip, so yeah, it's pretty insane now. The IS-3 Defender is an incredibly capable tier 8 heavy, and genuinely something that you will want to play a lot. IS-3. I'm going to do super strong. The IS-3's biggest downside is the gun depression. 5 degrees. That's really bad, and it makes it very annoying to work on ridge lines. But the upper plate is very strong. The turret is incredibly strong, easily one of the strongest turrets in the entire game. Even tier 10s will struggle to cut through it. The tank has tungsten, which is really nice. It has solid mobility, and it has APCR premium, unlike a lot of the other Soviet heavies, which means you can butter through armor even better in the latest update. So it is very nice. I just wish it had even 6 degrees of gun depression. It would make it a lot better. IS-5, easily OP. It's incredibly fast. It has 8 degrees of gun depression if you're running the improved stabilizers. Not only that, but the vehicle has insane armor. It has really just crazy values going for it. Plus, it gets tungsten. Like, the IS-5 is just insane. It really is one of the best tier 8s in the game currently, and it's so fun. Plus, it's only like 1500 gold, so you'll definitely want to get your hands on the IS-5. IS-6 and the IS-6 Fearless are exactly the same in every single stat, so there's really nothing to say about that. This might surprise you, but I'm putting it into OP. The reason why is because the IS-6 has literally the most armor I've ever seen. The lower plate on flat ground is like 250. The upper plate is like 300. The corner cutouts are over 300. Basically, almost no tier 8s can pen the IS-6 reliably, especially if they have heat as a premium shell. Pair that with the IS-6 having some of the highest premium pen, it butters through enemy armor in return. It is crazy strong. I have so much fun playing in the IS-6 with the armor it has, so I genuinely think it is an OP tank. ISU-130, super strong. The ISU 130 is basically just a better ISU 152. It has tungsten. It has the same mechanic as the SU-100Y, so it's standard as 460 alpha, and then you load AP premium, you lose pen, but you gain in damage dealing 530. And if you pair that with the tungsten, you can literally deal the same damage as the ISU, but with a much faster reload. And the tank has a bunch of different abilities, which is really cool. I think it even has like reactive and reticle Cali. The ISU 130 is really fun. It has way more DPM than the ISU, and it's just a really, really good tank. I need to honestly play that thing more. I haven't played it in a very long time. ISU 152, the 122, if you're running it, you like pain. I genuinely don't care. Like, why would you ever use the 122? And you can use the BL10, which has not only the highest pen literally ever, but it also does 640 damage per shot with over 3k DPM. It's literally a Hori in tier 8 with 3200 DPM. Why does the tank have so much DPM? It's mind-blowing to me. And it got even better because its APCR has more penetration. It has like 350 APCR. It's ridiculous. The ISU is an absolutely ridiculous tank. It stays an OP. Not even a question in my mind. K2, super strong. 7 degrees of gun depression, really strong frontal protection, and a decent gun. Unfortunately, I think the IS-6 is just better now. I really do. The IS-6 has way more frontal protection, and the IS-6 has better pen. And the K2 gun is kind of garbage, so just use the IS-6. KV-4, we'll do good. It has a very nice gun. The ZIS has incredible levels of pen, especially with the APCR premium. It has okay DPM, okay accuracy, but the armor is really nice now due to the enhanced buff. Calibrated shells getting nerfed. The KV-4 genuinely has really, really good, reliable armor. So it's a solid heavy. It's nothing insane, but I think good is where we'll leave it. KV-5, easily OP. Its armor was already crazy, and it was already one of the highest average win rate tier 8s. And now that its armor has become even stronger, its mobility is still great, and, you know, enemies really struggle to pen this thing, I think the KV-5 is definitely OP. LT-432, easy peasy, super strong. People don't realize that the LT-432 has tracer shells now, which means that it is the only tier 8 in the game that has tracer shell capability. Not only that, it reverses at 30 kilometers per hour, has incredibly troll levels of armor. It has AP premium, and it has really good DPM now. The LT-432 is easily one of the best tier 8 lights. It is honestly an insanely good tank, especially with that tracer shell mechanic, being able to spot players, especially because they don't even know that they're detected, because who knows the tank has tracer shells. So, crazy good tank. Object 590, also going to be going in the super strong. It has a very strong upper plate that's over 200 thick. Its turret is generally impervious for most tier 8 mediums to cut through. Pair that with solid DPM, good accuracy, 8 degrees of gun depression. The Object 590 is easily one of the best tier 8 mediums in the game, especially in the Soviet category. And that brings us to the T54 Mod 1, which is kind of just a flat worse 590, so we'll put the Mod 1 in the good. The Mod 1 still does have a better armor profile in terms of the lower plate, and especially in the latest update, the armor's actually pretty decent on the Mod 1, and the APCR premium got slightly better, but still isn't anything crazy. Its mobility isn't the best. It doesn't have more than 5 degrees of gun depression, which is a pretty big problem. So, yeah, I think good is where it's going to stay. 252, we'll put in the super strong. 252 armor is amazing. It's super troll, and it has APCR on its gun, so it got even more pen in the latest update. It has one of the strongest armor profiles. It has a decent gun in terms of its damage, although horrible accuracy, and the mobility is average. Personally, I think the Type 57 is a better version of the 252, and I also think that vehicles like the IS-3 Defender, the IS-5, the IS-6 are going to be better options in terms of armor nowadays, but it is still a pretty solid tank. Object 274A, average. The gun hits hard with 320 damage per shot, but it doesn't really have much armor. It doesn't have much mobility. It's kind of just an average medium. ST62 version 2, average. The armor is okay. Mobility is okay. It's got the most average Soviet gun ever, basically a T-44 gun, just reskinned on this tank. I don't really ever see much of a reason to play this thing, so we're going to leave it an average. STG Guard, genuinely super strong. It's got crazy good damage per shot at 400. Its APCR pen got even better in the latest update. And my favorite part about the STG is just how troll the armor profile is. The turret is like 300 thick, which is insane. And it does have a hatch, but the hatch is on the side, which means that if you move the turret left and right and you drive your tank back and forth, it's really hard to hit. It also has the most camo for a tier 8 medium, which means that you can literally outspot even light tanks when sitting still, which is kind of crazy. I really like the STG, and I think it's one of my favorite tier 8s in the entire game. Oh, got to move the T2020 down here. We're actually almost through the list. We only have maybe like 15 tanks to go, which isn't that bad. But oh my god, we've been recording for an hour and 10 minutes. Ugh! Okay, next SU-101, which goes into average. There's really not much of a reason to drive it. The gun does have good pen. However, the DPM is really lackluster. I wish Wargaming would buff the DPM. Its armor doesn't really work, and its accuracy isn't that good either. The SU-101 is just like, it's just a mid-tank destroyer. It's a tank that you'll play to get to the tier 9, and then once you get to the tier 9, you have the opposite, the most DPM like ever. So it is pretty funny, but really not much of a reason to play that thing. T44-100, honestly, you like pain. I don't ever see a reason to drive it. I mean, its gun is mid. It has no gun depression. Its armor doesn't really work. I just don't really see much of a reason to get your hands on the T44-100, so we're just going to leave it in the you like pain category. We have the T44 with both the 100mm and the 122. What's interesting is that in the latest update, well, not the latest, but in recent updates, the 122 has actually gotten a lot better. It has way better pen. It has decent DPM. And because of that, I'm going to put the 122 into average. Same with the 100mm. I don't think that the T44 is anything crazy, but it's a decent tank. It's got troll armor. It's got a solid amount of gun depression with the 100mm at 7 degrees. I think it's fun, but nothing insane. T54 lightweight, I think will do good. It has great mobility, solid DPM, troll armor for a light tank, and it looks great. I'm a big fan of the T54 lightweight. It's a very, very fun vehicle. It's one of the most popular light tanks in tier 8 as well. I think everybody likes it. I don't think there's anything crazy about it, but the armor's good, and it's a fun tank. All right, so at this point, all of these vehicles we'll be talking about here are new. Every single one of these tanks. Also, just realized I forgot the Kilana, so we're going to have to take a quick screenshot of that. Let me do that really quickly. Tier 8 and Polish TDs. We got to pull out snipping tool, grab a quick screenshot of the Kilana. Boom. And then let me choose image. Boom. Gallery. And there you go. Kilana has been put in. Okay, nice. There you go. Now we can do both of the tank destroyers. All right, let's start with the Titan Jagdpanther. Titan Jagdpanther is going to make its way into... I'm going to do average. I really don't see much of a reason to play it. It's just a worse Jagdpanther too. I mean, sure, it has better armor, but the armor doesn't really work all that well. The gun is kind of mediocre. It's slow. Don't waste your money on the Titan Jagdpanther, please. It's just an average tank. Object Kust, OP, easily. It has a double shot 440 alpha auto reloader. It has the highest camo in tier 8 at like 80% still after the camo nerfs for tank destroyers. It has pretty good accuracy, pretty troll armor. The Kust is pretty crazy, so I'm going to leave it in OP. Just the fact that it has that double shot 440. Type 63, another completely OP vehicle. 12 degrees of gun depression. A turret that you physically cannot pen. A top speed of 45. Premium AP that only loses a little bit of damage when loading gold. And even the upper plate's crazy good. Type 63 it's brain dead. It really is. So, it's an OP. Type 95 Giro, super strong. It's a really interesting tank that almost nobody knows anything about. It's got like 300 damage per shot on the standard, and then if you load AP Premium, it has 360. It has really good DPM when loading that Premium, and it has somewhat troll armor, plus really good mobility. I actually genuinely found the Giro so fun. What's funny is that it's like a tier 6 on PC, or maybe even a lower tier, but it's really fun in Blitz. So if you do see it, and you like tank destroyers, especially ones that have crazy DPM, Giro is the way to go. AMX ELC 901, also super strong. Just like the Type 59, it features adaptive concealment. It is the only other tier 8 in the game that features this, which is very nice. It is the smallest tank in the entire game in terms of height. And not only that, but it has a pretty good gun, a double shot 220 alpha gun. So you have the ability to deal about 450-ish damage when dumping your clip. It has really good pen, really good mobility, solid gun depression actually at like 7 degrees. A lot of people compare it to the Brask, and I do agree that it is comparable to the Brask, but the Brask does not have adaptive concealment, and the Brask doesn't have light tank camo on the move. So in that regard, you do have some really nice advantages. Plus, because it's so low down, if you get to the side of heavies, they literally do not have the gun depression to shoot you, which is really cool. So overall, I think the 901 it's super strong. It's not OP like the Brask, but it is genuinely a very fun tank, and I definitely find it more fun to play than the Brask. Moving on, we have the Sentinel. Sentinel's going to go into super strong. Really good armor profile, especially after the armor changes. It's got a 350 alpha gun, and it's an autoloader similar to the capabilities of the M4 Yo. The thing that I really like about the Sentinel is that it also features tungsten, so you can get almost 400 damage per shot. Actually, no, it's over 400. It's like 420 damage per shot, and you've got a faster reload than most 300 alpha guns. So fast reload, really good armor, pretty decent mobility, and even good gun depression. The Sentinel is really strong. We have the 56 TP, which I'm putting into OP. 56 TP has insane armor. The upper plate and the turret are some of the strongest in tier 8. Pair that with the tungsten, pretty good mobility, and even 8 degrees of gun depression. And the 56 TP is an absolute beast. Definitely keep an eye out for that vehicle when it hits stores. The Grom. OP! We have so many OP tanks. The reason the Grom is so OP, first of all, the lower plate's this tiny little thin bar, making it incredibly hard to hit. It has 7 degrees of gun depression, pretty good traverse speed, and it has 3,500 DPM, which is insanely high. It is one of the highest DPM tier 8 in the game. It has over 500 damage per shot when you are within 50 meters of your enemy, and when it's using gun depression, it's virtually impervious. So yeah, the Grom it's ridiculous. It is easily one of the most OP tier 8s. Then we have the Keylana, which is the tech tree version. And the Keylana is going to go into... We'll do super strong. The armor is great on the Keylana. The downside is that you don't have gun depression, 6 degrees instead of 7. Your traverse speed is substantially worse, and the lower plate is twice the size. So the Keylana is definitely an easier tank to deal than the Grom, but it has way more DPM, and it has less alpha, meaning that you reload even faster. Plus, the Keylana does have better armor if you're hiding the lower plate. So I do think the Keylana can be OP, but it really depends on how you're playing it. Plus, because these vehicles fire APCR standard and premium, they literally just got flat buffs in terms of their overall pen. The Pleone, genuinely OP. It's a vehicle that almost nobody knows anything about, but I have it, and I can tell you it's a beast. Using the thing on flat ground, if you angle properly, it's just like an Atlas. It has crazy good side-scraping armor. And the turret has insane levels of armor. Like, it has crazy armor. But it's not just the armor. It's the fact that it has also 2,500 DPM, which is great for a tier 8. Really good mobility, and even really solid penetration. The Pleone is great, and it has like 8 degrees of gun depression. It's literally just one of the most slept-on tier 8s that nobody knows anything about. We have the Convoyer, another OP tank. Convoyer might be right up there with the Bisante as well as one of the most OP tier 8s. It has a 6-shell, I think it's like a 110 alpha gun, and it's able to deal all that damage in like 3-4 seconds. It goes boom, 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 and all that's like 700 damage. It has really good armor, 800 DPM, which is ridiculous. And because of that, the Convoyer is incredibly OP. I genuinely don't know what Wargaming was thinking when they gave it like close to 3k DPM. It would be a good gun in tier 10. Like, it would genuinely, if you put that gun on the Atlas, it would be good in tier 10, let alone the fact it is a tier 8 heavy. It's ridiculous. We have the Prowler, which I'm going to put in average. The Prowler doesn't really have much armor. Its gun is okay. It has a bunch of cool mechanics, but like, who cares? It really isn't anything special. Nemesis, OP. There's so many OP tanks we've talked about today. The Nemesis features a 3-shell 300 and I think it's 50 alpha, but it might be 30 alpha gun. I'm drawing a blank right now, but the Nemesis has a pretty hard-hitting gun to begin with. And when you load Hesh, it has 440 damage per shot. I think it's 350 and then 440. It's similar to the Sentinel, where you have a like 7-ish second intra clip. So it takes a while to get your shells, but because you deal 440, basically you can deal like 1,050 damage in 14 seconds, which is insane. It's so much damage when you use the thing properly. Plus, it has really good armor, way better than your average tier 8 medium, so enemies are going to struggle to pen you. There's really good armor, solid mobility, and that Hesh alpha, it really allows you to just win so many trades with enemies. I mean, you have a substantially faster reload than something like the Chimera, substantially better armor than the Chimera. The only real downside is that you don't have premium ammo, but if you know what you're doing, the Nemesis is crazy good. We have the last tank to talk about, the AC Taegete. Taegeti. I don't know how you pronounce it. I genuinely don't, but we're putting it in OP. The tank has insane armor, a 440 alpha gun, pretty good mobility, and even great side scraping capabilities. It's just like the Atlas when I say it is one of the best tier 8s in the game. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is every single tier 8 ranked 1 hour and 20 minutes later. I need to take a rest and get my vocal cords working again. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, and you want to see more in the future, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Please do. And let me know what you guys think. I'm not going to keep this video going any longer. You can pause it if you want to see what I've done if you're going to skip to the end. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.